Midnight came down like a hammer that night, heavy rain slicing the city into silver shards, when a single father found himself running through neon-lit streets with a woman he never expected to save. The air smelled of wet asphalt and regret, and every step felt like fate tightening its grip. He had only stepped out to clear his head after putting his daughter to sleep, unaware that a few minutes later, everything he believed about power, weakness, and second chances was about to be rewritten. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe kindness still matters in a world that often forgets it, and if you believe people deserve second chances, even when they look like they have everything. He was known at work as the quiet one, the man who arrived early and left on time, never joining after-hours drinks, always checking his phone at exactly 9. To his co-workers, he was just another employee buried somewhere in the lower floors of a towering glass company. To his daughter, he was the whole world. Since his wife had passed years earlier, life had narrowed into a careful routine of school lunches, bedtime stories, and late-night exhaustion. Dreams had become a luxury he could not afford. He did not complain, he simply endured. That night the storm pushed him outside after a long week, rain blurring the city into something unreal. He noticed the commotion near a luxury car pulled over awkwardly by the curb, hazard lights blinking like a distress signal. A woman in a striking red dress stumbled under the weight of the rain, and something far heavier inside her. Even through the downpour, he recognized her. She was the CEO of his company, a woman whose name carried authority in boardrooms and headlines. Power seemed to follow her everywhere, except now, when it had abandoned her completely. The city at midnight has no mercy. Cars rushed past, strangers watched without moving, umbrellas tilted away from. Responsibility. He saw her sway dangerously close to the road, saw fear flash across her face when her heel slipped. In that moment, titles dissolved. There was no CEO and no employee, only a human being on the edge. Instinct took over. He moved before he could think, steadying her, shielding her from the rain, guiding her away from the street. His jacket soaked through, his arms trembling, not from the cold, but from the weight of what he was doing. She was drunk, vulnerable, and utterly alone. The man who had spent years protecting a small child from nightmares now found himself protecting a powerful adult from her own unraveling. He helped her into the car, called for assistance, and stayed until he knew she would be safe. When it was over, the rain felt quieter, as if the city itself had taken a breath. He walked home soaked, heart pounding, unsure why the moment felt so important, unaware that it would echo into the morning. Sleep barely came. His daughter stirred with a bad dream, and he soothed her, promising safety with a voice steadier than he felt. By dawn, life tried to return to normal. Breakfast was made, shoes were tied, a hug was given at the school gate. Then he went to work, expecting nothing more than another day of quiet effort and invisibility. The morning after was anything but ordinary. The office buzzed with an unfamiliar tension, whispers moving faster than emails. When the CEO entered, she looked different. The confidence was still there but softened, grounded by something deeper. Her eyes scanned the room until they found him. Recognition landed like a silent thunderclap. In that instant, he understood that midnight had not been left behind in the rain. What changed was not a grand announcement or public gratitude. It was subtler and far more powerful. His workload shifted, his ideas were listened to, his presence acknowledged. More importantly, she began to see him not as a position on an org chart, but as a man carrying responsibility far heavier than his job title suggested. She learned about his daughter, his routine, his sacrifices. He learned about the loneliness that came with standing at the top, the pressure to be unbreakable, the fear of failing where everyone could see. Weeks passed, and something quiet grew between them, built not on romance or ambition, but on mutual respect. The challenge he faced was not whether to accept opportunity, but whether to believe he deserved it. Years of surviving had trained him to expect nothing more than stability. Growth felt dangerous, like tempting fate. Yet each evening when he tucked his daughter into bed, he realized that showing her courage mattered more than staying invisible. The CEO faced her own reckoning. That night had stripped away her illusion of control. Being saved by someone with nothing to gain forced her to confront how far she had drifted from the person she once wanted to be. She began making changes, not just in the company, but in herself. Policies shifted toward humanity, schedules became kinder, and success was no longer measured only in numbers. The city never knew what really happened that night. To the world, it was just another storm, another headline waiting to be replaced. But for one single father, midnight became a turning point. He did not save a CEO, he saved a person, and in doing so he saved something inside himself that had been quietly fading. As opportunities slowly opened and life grew less heavy, he understood that kindness does not announce itself with applause. It works in silence, in moments when no one is watching, and it has a way of returning when you least expect it. His daughter noticed the change before anyone else. The tiredness in his eyes softened. Hope, long absent, came back in small, steady ways. If this story is reaching something tender inside you, please take a moment near the end to like, share, and comment, because your engagement helps stories like this travel further and remind others that compassion still exists. Before the final moment, leave a comment sharing whether you believe one small act can truly change a life. The rain eventually stopped falling in that city, but its lesson remained. At midnight, a single dad chose humanity over indifference, and the morning after proved that no act of kindness is ever wasted. Some nights change everything, not because of who is saved, but because of who we choose to be when the world is watching, or even when it is not.